Hey everybody, how's it going tonight? This is Coast Daddy. We're back with episode 2 of Coaster Cafe. And I see we already got a few people here anxiously waiting. So, um Stamford Bridge says our coaster father who art on YouTube. Yeah, don't forget I'm daddy. Can you Hey, Schechter the Riot. Good to see you back here. Um okay guys, so in the first episode of Coaster Cafe that I did, things did not go according to plan whatsoever. I had this nifty little outline that I posted on my community tab. Can you guys hear me good, by the way? Let me know if you guys can hear me fine. You're about 1 minute late, downhill adrenaline. As uh, not too bad this time. I'm impressed. Can you guys all hear me good? Just let me know before I can. Okay, great. Thank you guys. All right. So, as I was saying, um, last live stream that I did, great, awesome. I'm glad it sounds good. So, the first live stream I did, things didn't go according to plan whatsoever. I had an outline that I was going to follow. I was going to discuss certain things and then take questions in the second half of the show. As a lot of you know, that whole plan just completely fell apart. And it was fun. We had a great time. I was talking to you guys the whole time and that was great. But it could use a little bit of improvement. So I'm going to try to follow the structure better. Just so you guys know what's going on. So for the first part of the show, which is essentially starting right now, this is the intro. We're going to do like the intro and just talk about a lot of different things, whether they be amusement park related or not. We'll talk about like different news related topics in the amusement industry. Anything that I might think of that may or may not be related. We'll talk about the coffee I'm drinking. Obviously, this is Coaster Cafe, so I'll just touch on that real quick. Um, so it's just going to be a lot of discussion, and if there's anything you guys want to go a little bit in depth about during this first half, the first portion is going to be about 25 minutes long, where we discuss all these topics. And then the next part of the show, which is I'm planning to be about 5 minutes or so, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, is going to be trivia. So I actually have a couple questions for you guys, just as something fun to do. And no cheating on RCDB either. Okay. No cheating on RCDB, guys. Play nice. So yeah, anyway, I see some of you guys asking questions. Like I said, I just went over that outline for the first half of the show. The second half of the show is where I'm going to be taking questions from you guys. So I'm just going to open the floor. It'll be like a Q&A. You guys can ask me whatever. Try to think of some like interesting, unique questions to ask me. And also don't keep asking the same question like 50 times. In the last live stream I did, I got a few complaints and I was a little bothered by it as well. And I should have brought it up, and I would have if I would have realized it was bothering other people too. Um, please don't ask the same question like several times. If I don't answer something, I'm sorry. I try to hit a lot of the things, and there was a particular thing that I didn't answer it because I didn't have any experience with any of the things that were being asked, so I just decided not to acknowledge it. Maybe I should have, but please don't keep asking the same question a million times. I just asked that nicely. So, um, yeah, let's get into this. So, this is Coaster Cafe, as you guys all know. I am sipping on some good coffee here as usual. my handy little Ravine Flyer mug. One of my favorite coasters, by the way. Any Ravine Flyer fans in here tonight? Any huge Ravine Flyer fans? One of my all-time favorites. So I am drinking this really unique Michigan cherry coffee, and it's actually from Meyer. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Meyer. It's a pretty big department store around this area of the United States, and it's their brand of coffee. And I got this for Christmas. My parents told me this coffee is really good, and it is. It's really unique, and I like enjoying this every once in a while. So this Michigan cherry coffee has a very strong cherry flavor. When you smell it in the bag, it has like a super like overbearing, like almost medicine-y type of cherry smell, which I don't really care for. It's really weird. But when you actually brew it, like I use a Keurig, so when you actually brew it, it actually tastes pretty good. So no dog fart brew that I know of. I probably wouldn't drink the dog fart brew if it existed. Yes, RF2 hype. Yes. Ravine Flyer 2 is phenomenal. I can't describe how much I love that ride. One of one of my biggest personal favorite rides. It's still in my top 10. I love it. So yeah, I doubt any of you have, but let me know if you've had this Michigan cherry coffee. And if you have a Maya around you, maybe you should, check it out. I guess it's really cheap. I think it's like $5 for this bag, of ground coffee. So good stuff. And actually, um, actually, we went to Dunkin' Donuts earlier as well, and I've had this in the fridge for a while. I'm sipping on this iced coffee. I got this on accident. I decided not to say anything about it though. We were in the drive-through. But this is a blueberry vanilla iced coffee. I was supposed to get like excuse me. I was supposed to get a Girl Scout like coconut flavored hot latte. They gave me this instead. So but this is really good too. So I'm sipping on two different kinds of coffee here. Double fisting it for you guys. Uh, okay, so yeah, this question kind of relates to, the whole coffee topic. Coaster Lover 2001 asks what my favorite coffee chain is, fast food chain, and pizza chain. Out of the huge, I'm going to start with pizza. Out of the huge pizza fast food chains, I would say East of Chicago is the best, at least as far as what I have around here. Favorite fast food chain? Um, I really liked the Bojangles that I've eaten at when I've went on amusement park road trips. When we went to Dollywood, we ate at a Bojangles a couple times, and then I ate at one a couple times when I went to King's Dominion. I love Bojangles. I wish there were some around here. And then my favorite coffee chain. Oh man, I love this one. So it's hard for me to pick one favorite. Obviously, I love coffee. Um, and I love a lot of the different coffee chains for different reasons, if that makes any sense. So, actually, McDonald's has really, really good coffee. Supposedly, the coffee that they currently have, it's an old formula it's an old recipe, like an old coffee that Tim Hortons used to have. When Tim Hortons got their new coffee, McDonald's bought Tim Hortons' old coffee, which would maybe help explain why McDonald's has really good coffee. It's like one of my favorites. Sometimes I prefer it over anything really, but I love McDonald's coffee. Um, I love all the big chains like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. If I really had to pick one though, I'd probably say Dunkin' Donuts just because it's pretty much good anytime. Like sometimes I'm more in the mood for Starbucks and I'm willing to spend a little more and get something different. And Starbucks is fantastic. I don't always want to spend like $5 for a coffee. Um, Sometimes I get, like, a latte or something fancy like that. Sometimes I just get regular brewed, hot coffee. But, I love Starbucks, but it's not good for, like, everyday, drinking, like, I would say, like, Dunkin' Donuts is. And, McDonald's coffee, I always love McDonald's coffee, so I guess I'll say Dunkin' Donuts is my favorite coffee chain. Yes, McDonald's iced coffee is kind of funny if they make it right. Sometimes they don't make it very well, and it just tastes like hot coffee with ice in it, which is kind of gross. So, okay, Raising Cane's. I've never been to Raising Cane's. I really do wanna try it, though. Yes, I'm very much from Ohio. I was born in Ohio, raised in Ohio. I've always lived in Ohio, so very much an Ohioan. I've always lived close to Cedar Point, so it's always been my home park. Stamford Bridge says Ravine Flyer 2 is still in his top 10. Now, Stamford Bridge, what is your coaster count? I know you've been on a lot of coasters, so it's pretty impressive to me that it's still in your top 10. I mean, it's a fantastic ride. It's not that surprising. But yeah, how many coasters have you been on? Even if it's just like a rough number. I don't know if I'm sure you probably keep track of your credits somehow. What coffee chain makes me yeet out of the third dimension? Um, I guess, Starbucks, like, whenever, I'm in the mood for Starbucks, that just yeets me out of the third dimension. If they make something really good, it's, really good. I don't I usually don't wanna spend that much, though. It's not really worth the price, even though it's really good. Okay, so you have 555 credits. Fantastic. I figured you had at least a few hundred by the way you talk, so yeah, you have me beat by 1 downhill adrenaline. I have 96 currently, so I'll be adding a lot of new ones this year though, so I'm pretty excited. I think at least 30 or 35 new ones. So kind of the same that I did in 2019 too as well. So and at the beginning of 2019 I only had like 56. So 440. Wow. It's amazing how those numbers work out for you. You've been on 555, 444 in North America, and 111 in Europe. That is perfect. Okay, what type of food blew me away the first time I tried it? I guess this kind of pertains to what we're talking about. It's I don't know. I love all kinds of food really. That's such a hard question to answer. I'm not even gonna try to. I don't know why yeah, I don't know. Okay, Eddie Jackson says, I think it's awesome to not have a lot because it leaves more to look forward to. Yeah, I get that. Like going into my road trip I did in 2019 back in June where I went to King's Dominion and Carowinds, it was completely uncharted territory for me. I never did anything like that really, especially doing it by myself. It was like, holy crap. And I rode lots of amazing coasters and it was something totally new and fresh, and it still is pretty fresh for me at this point. So I can definitely see, yeah, I see that point for sure. Yeah. What coffee makes me want to ride Schecter the Riot? Um, Something that gets me pumping. I've never tried bulletproof coffee, that coffee with like the ridiculously high caffeine content, but I'm sure that would. What kind of coffee makes me want to take a toaster bath? Um, uh, when I went to Dollywood, we stayed at a Days Inn there, and The coffee they had at that hotel was absolutely atrocious. They had these coffee machines, and the coffee that was in there was like toxic sludge. I mean, I still drank it somewhat, but it was pretty bad. I preferred the little pod coffee things they had in those little, portable things in the rooms that make single cups. I preferred the coffee they had in those packets to what they had in the coffee machine. Eddie Jackson asked me a good question. Um, have you tried butter in your coffee? Yes, I have. That bulletproof coffee. um, oh, I think I called the high caffeine coffee. I think I called it bulletproof coffee earlier. Maybe it's actually called Death Wish. But anyway, bulletproof coffee. Thanks for reminding me of that too, Eddie. Um, yeah, I have had butter in my coffee. Bulletproof coffee, butter, and coconut oil. It's actually really good. I love it. Every once in a while, you have to use the unsalted butter, because it'll make your coffee bitter if it's salted. Okay, so it's great. This is fun talking about all this random stuff. But in this first portion of the show, I want to talk about like a few like news related topics regarding the amusement industry. So I'm going to move on now. Um, First of all, um, Six Flags. Kings Island announced the opening day, which is April 11th, and also Orion is going to open on April 11th as well. So we have an official opening date for Orion. Personally, I'm really excited for it. It's pretty close to home. It's 3.5 hour drive. So I'm really excited to get to Kings Island again this year. Check out Orion. I think it looks like a great ride. Um, I don't think it's going to be like quite on the level of, Fury or anything like that. I think it could potentially be a top 10 ride for me. I think it's going to be great though, regardless. So I'm really excited for it. Yeah, I think Orion is going to be amazing. Um, yeah. Now, something else I want to talk about, and I know I'm really late to I'm really late to the discussion on this one. This news actually came out, I think, on the day that I did my first live stream, and I meant to talk about it then, and it just kind of passed me by. I kind of forgot about it, I guess. So that was my fault, but it's still relevant though. Six Flags stock crashed, like it sunk. Like I think it was pretty close to $50 per share before this big crash, but then, about a week ago, it went down to like $35. And actually, I have it pulled up on my phone and I just checked it. It's at $37.87 currently. So, still pretty bad. It dipped a lot. What do you guys think is going to happen with Six Flags in the near future? I mean, I know there's been talks of like them maybe selling off some of their parks. They're known to do that with parks that don't do that well. And also, Cedar Fair has come out and said that they've put aside like a couple $100 million or something like that to acquire new properties. We've seen them start to do that. They acquired the Schlitterbahn properties, in 2019. So, do you guys think that maybe Cedar Fair will buy a couple Six Flags parks down the road? What do you think this means for Six Flags? Okay, Casual Nacho 16 says selling a lot of parks. Downhill Adrenaline, yeah, I think that'd be great if Cedar Fair got Six Flags over Texas. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna get any of those Texas parks though, because those are like two of their best, like most successful parks. And Over Texas is the original one. Excuse me. Um, okay, Eddie doesn't think they will sell anything this year. Okay. We don't know either way, obviously. Okay, Stamford Bridge says, my guess is Six Flags will restructure their bargain annual pass prices, raising rates. Um, I haven't heard a lot of people mention that, but I think that could very well happen. I mean, honestly, those Six Flags memberships are so freaking dirt cheap. Like, how'd they even get by? Like, I mean, I understand their business model and everything. It did work for them for a while, but I think in the long run, they're gonna have to raise it, and they're gonna have to start changing things up, to if they really want to continue to move forward. Otherwise, they're just gonna tank, I think. So those are kind of my thoughts on it. I think they may sell a couple of their smaller parks, possibly. Not That's not to say I think Cedar Fair will necessarily buy some of the Six Flags parks. I think that could happen though. I really don't know what exactly to feel about it yet, but Six Flags needs to make some changes pretty bad, I think. And it's so frustrating to me because um Six Flags properties, the Six Flags brand is so well known and it has so much power in the industry, and they have so much potential with their properties, and there are so many of them just like they're just not operating to their full potential, it seems. It's frustrating, really. So, okay, Downhill Adrenaline says, I heard that Over Texas is in some of the most debt, meaning out of all the Six Flags parks. I haven't heard that. I don't know. I mean, I'm really not that well educated on it. So, yeah, if anybody knows anything else about that, feel free to pitch in. Okay, Stanford Bridge, you bring up a really good point. Six Flags did just reacquire a couple properties, and you say you can't see them selling again right away. That does make sense. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen right away. Maybe they'll wait a year or so. But I feel like at some point they are going to sell some of their properties again. It's Six Flags kind of tends to do that. So maybe not right now, but yeah, casual nachos. I think Cedar Fair would like to expand more into the southern states. I think they would like to expand their reach within the country. So that'd be great to see for sure. Okay, I'm gonna talk about something else real quick. This is just kind of like a fun thing, I guess, to talk about. The the boats from the Shoot the Rapids water ride that used to operate at Cedar Point. You guys know that disastrous water ride that was only at the park. I was never at Cedar Point when they had that ride at all. It was there from like 2010 to 2013 or 2015 or something like that. And got in that accident. It was pretty big disaster. It looked like a snooze fest of a ride anyway. But the boats from that Shoot the Rapids ride are now for sale. I see this on the Screamscape website from January 17th, yesterday. Um, it says, anyone ever wanted to own your very own Intamin flume vehicle? Apparently, the 9 boats former from Cedar Point Shoot the Rapids ride are being sold online for 350,000 a piece on eBay. Um, so yeah, I guess that'd be pretty cool to have one of those if you have room and you have the money for it. If you have over $250,000 to blow, that'd be pretty cool. So probably make better use of it than what it was actually used for, honestly. Oh, Tim K, good to see you here. And actually I remember seeing your comment earlier where you said you likely built some of those Myers. And that's awesome. I meant to acknowledge that earlier and got caught up in answering questions. So I'm guessing you're a construction worker. You work for Meyer and you build their new stores. That's pretty cool. So my parents got this. Probably from the Sandusky Mire, maybe the new one in Avon. So yeah. Yeah, and Tim K, yeah. Tim K says lower for Six Flags, lower day pass and increase and consolidate, restructure the season pass memberships. Got to give the new CEO a shot at turning it around. Yeah, I hope the new CEO really sees the potential in the properties and really does something to turn it around for Six Flags. So yeah, thanks guys for the reminders that we're 25 minutes in. Um so yeah, we're gonna be moving on to the next thing here. As you guys said, it is 25 minutes in. So it's time to do some trivia. Are you guys ready for some trivia? Get your thinking caps on here. All right. Are you guys ready for this? Because I don't know if you are. Close that RCDB tab. Okay, no cheating. Close that tab. No RCDB for you. Okay. Okay, Tim K says he finishes the drywall at Meyer. You worked at both Avon and Mentor. Cool, cool. I don't live too far from the Avon one. It's not too far from me, so I mean it's a little bit of a drive. About get on the highway. It takes about 15 minutes to get there, but I actually haven't been to that one yet. So, but there's a new one about to open in maybe a month or two here. That's really close to me. So, okay, guys. You're nothing without RCDB. Well, I'm sorry about that. I guess you're going to be useless here tonight then. I don't know. Let's see what you guys know. So, the first question I have. So, Big Dipper at Geauga Lake was a classic wooden coaster that opened in the year 1925 and operated through 2007 when Geauga Lake closed for the season and never reopened. RIP Geauga Lake. I missed that park. So, when Big Dipper originally opened at Geauga Lake, however, it was called Skyrocket. Before finally being renamed Big Dipper in 1968, the ride also went by another name, which it was changed to sometime between 1947 and 1950. What was this wooden coaster called between being named Skyrocket and Big Dipper? That's false. No, it was not Comet. Big Dipper was not known as Comet ever, surprisingly. But yeah, between being called Skyrocket originally and Big Dipper, it was known by another name. Does anybody know the answer? It's kind of a common old coaster name, but not it's nothing like a Big Dipper or a Cyclone or a Comet. It's not super common like those ones, but it was still a pretty common name for that time period. Not Cyclone, not Rocket. I'm surprised you don't know the Stamford Bridge. It was not Rocket. Not Thunderbolt either. Sorry. Not Twister. Yeah, I thought you guys might have a little bit of a hard time with this, so that's why I threw this in there. Not Leap the Dips, not Wildcat. These are all great guesses. It wasn't Monster. Hey, Insane Coaster Junkie, what's up? I just got done watching some of your live stream a little bit ago. That was fun. Stamford Bridge, it was not Whirlwind. Okay, Insane Coaster Junkie, let me catch you up here. Basically, we're doing trivia right now. Big Dipper at Geauga Lake. Do you know what it was called in between being called Skyrocket originally and then Big Dipper later on? Do you know what Big Dipper at Geauga Lake was called in between Skyrocket and Big Dipper? It was not roller coaster. No, it was not Pippin. You guys are making some awesome guesses, but nobody's hitting it on the nose. It was kind of a common roller coaster name, but it wasn't, like, common like all of these ones that you guys are, listing off here. It was not Bob's, it was not Coaster. Do you guys want me to give it to you? Are you guys ready for me to, any last guesses here? Any last guesses for Big Dipper? It was not fart. Tim K cheated. Okay. So Big Dipper at Geauga Lake was known as Clipper. It was changed to the name Clipper sometime between 1947 and 1950, and it remained Clipper until 1968 when it was renamed to what we now know as Big Dipper. Unfortunately, Big Dipper was torn down in 2016 after sitting vacant on the property for 9 years. I miss Geauga Lake a lot, and Big Dipper was a fantastic old school wooden coaster, had a lot of great airtime moments, and it was just a really fun ride. It was my favorite ride at the park. I love Big Dipper slash Clipper slash Skyrocket. So, um, what do you guys think of Big Dipper? Stamford Bridge, did you ride Big Dipper or anybody else? Insane Coaster Junkie, your fans thought it was Mean Street. Oh, okay, so you're actually watching my live stream through yours. Okay, cool, cool. What's up, everybody? Insane Coaster Junkie stream is apparently still going on because he said he's streaming my live stream through his live stream. So, meme streak. Yeah. Oh, Stamford Bridge. Never visited Geauga Lake. Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Um, that park had a lot of potential. A lot of potential. Cedar Fair could have done a lot of great things with that park if they actually cared about it. Okay, we gotta real quick do this second trivia question that I have. So for our next question, uh, excuse me, this deals with Six Flags Great America. So in 2002, the year 2002, Six Flags Great America announced that they were closing down one of their coasters to make way for Superman Ultimate Flight, the B&M flying coaster, which opened in 2003. Now, Shockwave, the Aero Custom Looper, ended up closing to make way for Superman Ultimate Flight. But originally, yes, it was the Whizzer. Yeah, you guys all have it. Whizzer originally was supposed to close before Shockwave. But Whizzer was such a beloved ride that there was actually a huge push from like the whole community to keep Whizzer around. And then Shockwave ended up getting sacrificed to make way for Superman instead. I think that was a pretty good move. I think Whizzer looks like an awesome ride, and it's a really, really unique ride. I'm glad they kept it around, and I'm glad it's still around at the park. I'm really looking forward to getting to Great America and checking that one out. So, oh, Ace. Okay, so Stamford Bridge said, Ace, American Coaster Enthusiasts, had a hand in saving it. So I didn't realize that. So that's good. Good on their part for sure. I'm probably going to be joining Ace at some point in the near future. So, well, I will be joining at some point. I don't know exactly when, but sometime before the season starts, I will be joining Ace actually. So, yeah, it's been fun trivia. So, Kelpie G loves this stream. Well, I love that you love this stream. So, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Scandia closed in 2019. Very, very recent wound there. Oh, Tim K said Whizzer is the only coaster at Six Flags Great America you don't have. What, I'm guessing it was closed when you visited? That's unfortunate. Like I said, that's a really unique ride. I think it looks like an awesome family coaster. Really glad, really grateful that that has been saved and it's still there. So, and thank you, Downhill Adrenaline. Thank you for your support. Always appreciate it. But yeah, as far as Whizzer and the whole like petitioning to get that ride saved, and obviously eventually they were successful. The ride was saved. This kind of makes me think of let's go off on a little tangent here. It really bothers me a lot nowadays, when all of these um rides are announced to be closing for good. For example, when Vortex was announced to close at Kings Island. I mean, that's just one of many examples we have. But it's like nowadays, everybody is, all up in arms about these rides closing whenever these announcements are made. And I think sometimes that is with due reason, but we need to stop making a huge fuss every single time a ride is announced to close, because I think that's basically making it where a lot of these parks aren't going to want to give us time to get to these rides before they close. They're just going to start announcing things in the off season so they don't have to deal with all this ruckus, because, you know, people are always making a big deal out of rides closing. And I get that you know, I get that people are sad about people have certain connections to rides and everything like that. And I really appreciate that. I can respect that. But there are good reasons, there are certain instances where it's very founded, to make a big deal about something closing. Like if it's something really important or significant, or sometimes there's a good reason for it, but not every single ride needs to be saved. You know, things evolve, things get old and start deteriorating, and sometimes they just need to, oop, they need to make space for new attractions, newer, better things. So, don't make a big deal out of every single ride closing, because I think it's going to come down to at some point these parks are just going to start making these announcements in the off season so they don't have to deal with, us annoying enthusiasts who are making a big deal about every decision they make. So, you got to understand there are I don't agree with every single ride closure that, has been announced. I think there are some where they could have maybe worked on them a little bit more, or maybe they were worth putting that extra money into to save. Volcano, possibly. But not every single ride needs to be saved. With some of them, it's their time. They've had a good run, and it's just time for them to go. It's just part of life. So, Eddie Jackson says, "Think if they would have just closed Steel Phantom and Morgan would not have come in and redo it to Phantom's Revenge." Yeah, that's a good instance where something good came out of people making a big deal about a closure. So, if you guys aren't aware, when Steel Phantom, the original Steel Phantom at Kennywood, was announced to be closing, it was a huge deal. A lot of people were upset. And I feel like that was a good instance for people to speak up about how much they loved that ride, because it looked like a pretty decent ride. Um and it was beloved. I think. I mean, I was like 4 at the time, but you know, obviously, that commotion got us an even better ride with the transition into Phantom's Revenge, which was done by Morgan Manufacturing. So that actually did lead to they still removed Steel Phantom, but they turned it into a better ride. So I think there was due reason for people to make a fuss about it, but also the park took that, and they saw that there were issues with Steel Phantom, which is why they were closing it, but they decided to not scrap it completely, and they made it an even better ride. So it's like, it's like an early RMC in a way, you know? Tim K says fuss is publicity and the parks love publicity. Yeah, that's very true. I do agree with that, but like I said, I think there is also some merit into like what I was saying, with how people make a fuss about everything, and if people start to give these parks issues about closing everything, I think there are going to be some consequences potentially. So, okay, BJT Gaming says they should just do what they did with Python to Vortex. So I think you're referring to Python, which is that in the Netherlands or something? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was where they took an old Arrow looper and refurbished it with like the coma track, or they redid somehow they redid the ride. Um and if that's what you're referring to, okay, Efteling. Yes. Okay, it's at Efteling. Python's at Efteling. Now the thing is with that, that would be a lot more difficult to market as a new ride. And honestly, even if they were just to keep the same layout with Vortex, I don't think it had that strong. This is just my personal opinion. I don't think it had that strong of a layout, and it didn't really do a whole lot for me. Like I did not hate Vortex, even though I am very sad to see it go, you know. I also didn't love it. It just didn't really do a whole lot for me. It went upside down quite a few times, and that was all fun and good, but they were just typical feeling inversions. The best part was probably the Batwing. I mean, that was kind of intense, but that was about it. Um, I think it had a great first drop. I love the first drop, and I thought the Batwing was pretty solid. Other than that, I didn't think it was terrible. I wasn't blown away by it. And that's kind of how I feel about Anaconda at King's Dominion too, honestly. Just so I don't know. I don't think it would be worth it for the park to, try to refurbish it like that. I just don't think they're willing to put that kind of money into it. By the way, we are, as you guys can probably tell, we are into the Q&A portion of the show now. So I'm just taking your guys' questions and answering them, which is great. But let's see here. Coaster Lover 2001, referring to Python, says, I think it's actually Vekoma Looper. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, it's a Vekoma Looper. I don't know what I was thinking, but okay. Oh, Michael Ranella says, "Why aren't you talking about your guitars?" Well, let's talk about them. Let me so I actually play guitar. Music is a pretty big part of my life. I've been actually playing guitar for about 12 years. I'm self-taught. I'm all right. I just jam and just play whatever. But let me get my guitars to show you guys real quick here. So, this is one of my 2 Schecter guitars that I have. It's missing the top string right here. I need to, uh I need to put new strings on it, obviously. This is a Schecter C1 Plus. I bought this used on eBay, like, 7 years ago for, like, less than 300 bucks, and this is a really nice guitar. It's beautiful. You can't tell how nice it looks on my webcam, but it's, oh, it's like yours? Okay. Yeah, it's nice. It's a really nice guitar. So now my other Schecter I have is this red It's a um, Schecter Diamond Series Elite 006. Um, it's not a very common model, not like a very common body shape. I love this guitar though. I bought this used at a Guitar Center in 2010 for like just a little over $200, some birthday money I had. And I love this thing. This is by far my favorite guitar. So I love this Schecter right here. It's a very beautiful looking in person. It feels great. It plays great. Sounds awesome. So, and I'll also get my acoustic guitar to show you guys as well. So bear with me here. This is my acoustic guitar. Um, this is like a really valuable possession to me. It's so as you can see on the headstock here, it's called a Novo, and it was made by Gibson. As you see, this diamond here says Gibson on it. So these are actually really rare guitars. They're not like worth a lot of money or really sought after or anything like that, but they're very rare. They made like less than 300 of these guitars back in like the late 80s, like 89, I believe. And somehow, I'm not sure how really. My mom's uncle, who just collects tons of instruments and doesn't even really know how to play them. He just collects them. He acquired this somehow. And back in like 2013 or 2014, somewhere around there, he actually gave me this guitar. And he said he just didn't have room for it or whatever. He knew I would, appreciate it. And I love this guitar. It sounds great, plays great. It's a really nice acoustic. So those those are my guitars for you guys who care about that stuff. So I, I I'm glad you guys gave me the opportunity to talk about that because I love my guitars. So technically I do have a couple other guitars as well, but I don't really play them. They're just like old ones that I got when I was really young that aren't really that great. I just hold on to them for nostalgic reasons, because they are important to me on a personal level. But yeah. So let me see some of these questions I missed while I was talking about my guitars here. Um, what's my favorite ride at Kennywood? I'm going to do a Kennywood ranked video for the coasters at some point, but it's Phantom's Revenge. It's by far Phantom's Revenge. Um, Michael, I mean, I don't have a. Oh, you don't actually have a Schecter. Okay. But what is your guitar then? What do you have? You said my guitar was kind of like yours. So what do you have exactly? I'm just curious. What will Dominion get on their 50th anniversary? Don't know. I'm not sure when they're. I probably not a coaster. Busch Gardens, Virginia 50th anniversary. I don't know. Pantheon or Iron Gwazi best coaster in 2020. I think Iron Gwazi. Pantheon stands a good chance though. I won't be riding either in 2020 as far as I know, so I won't be able to judge for myself necessarily. But yeah, I think Iron Gwazi. Okay, Eddie Jackson asks a really good question. What's my most anticipated coaster and park for 2020? Mine is Holiday World and ride is Fury 325. All right, I'm excited for you, Michael. You will enjoy Holiday World. You'll love Fury 325. That's awesome. Um, for me in 2020, my most anticipated coaster is actually one I'm really stoked about. It's my number one bucket list coasters. Eh, my number my number one bucket list coaster is El Toro Six Flags Great Adventure. I'm so stoked for that. I'm planning a road trip for early June, and that's supposed to be the first park that we hit up. So yeah, El Toro, and for my most anticipated park, I would say Hershey Park because we're also doing Hershey Park on that road trip. And Skyrush is my number two bucket list coaster, so I'm doing Skyrush there. And I think all around, Six Flags Great Adventure looks like a great park, but I think Hershey Park just looks like one of the best out there. Great coaster collection. So Stamford Bridge says a guitar is a gift that keeps on giving. Yes, it really is. It sounds kind of cheesy, but it's really true. It something I value a lot, it's really important to me. I love that guitar, that acoustic one. It truly does keep on giving. So long live Phantom's Revenge. Rampaging Rex Productions is on here. Great to see him here. Great channel. Go check him out. Good to see you on here. Um, Jeff Kaplan, I do not know personally when Gwazi at Busch Gardens Tampa will open. I don't know if anybody else does. I don't think the park has released an opening date yet for sure. So Michael Ranella, you say it's a piece of crap. I think you're talking about, I don't know if you're talking about your guitar or Skyrush maybe. Clarify that maybe for me. Rampaging Rex, thank you. Looking forward to my Kennywood ranking video. Yeah, it's not one of my like high priority things currently. I will get I do plan on getting around to it at some point. But yeah, it'll be fun whenever I get around to it. So I don't know when that'll be. Probably, I don't know, maybe like a few months from now, something like that. So yeah, I love Kennywood as a park. I I think they could improve their operations and everything. But as a park itself, for what they have and what is physically there as the park, Kennywood is fantastic for sure. Um, okay, what will Busch Gardens do with their old Curse of Dark Castle building? Um, check in, chicken, whatever, thinks they will bring them back with new effects, new animatronics, and new technology. I don't think so. I don't think it's coming back. I think that building is just going to sit there. Maybe they'll put a new ride in there at some point. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna politely ask without trying to call you out directly. You know who you are. Can we? This was an issue last time. Let's not ask like similar questions over and over as I addressed at the beginning of this live stream. Let's not ask similar questions or questions about the same parks over and over and over, please. Okay. That would be very much appreciated. I appreciate you being here. I want everybody to have fun here. Um, but yeah, let's refrain from asking like the same questions over and over and over. It's not really fun for anybody. So yeah. Kings Island ranking. Kelpie G asks for a Kings Island ranking. I'm definitely doing a Kings Island ranking at some point as well. I'm sure that will probably be before the Kennywood one, actually. So that's a little bit higher up on my priority list, but I will get around to that at some point, as well as Carowinds and King's Dominion, and then Kennywood at some point. So yeah, I pretty much want to do one on all the major parks I've been to, barring Holiday World because it's been so long since I've been there and I haven't been on Legend. I really need to get back to Holiday World. So might happen this year, maybe not. Insane Coaster Junkie. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around everywhere, guys. I'm trying to keep up with everything as best as I can. Insane Coaster Junkie is asking, what could be the new additions for Waldemere in 2021? Well, um, well, Jay, I'm really sorry. Is your name Jay? I'm drawing a blank here. Um, I know your name, and I feel bad because I'm drawing a blank. What is your actual first name again? Um, is it Jay? Is that correct? But to answer your question, Insane Coaster Junkie, great channel. Go check them out. Um, for Waldemere in 2021, you know what I want. I want that RMC Raptor that we were talking about in your live stream. And I know that's what you want too. But what will they actually get in 2021? I don't think it'll be the RMC Raptor just yet. Um, I think, let's see, this year they're getting a pretty big um it might just be like an off year for them. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe a new thrilling flat ride. I would love to see a new thrilling flat ride. Chaos is amazing. I would love to see another new flat ride. So maybe they'll take out like the spider or possibly Mega Vortex. Probably not, but maybe they'll take out a flat ride and put something new in. My favorite coffee, I guess McDonald's. That's something I always can go for. Okay, BJT Gaming asks, "What's my favorite roller coaster that people consider bad?" Um, my favorite roller coaster that man, as far as the stuff I've been on, I don't think I've really been on a lot that let me open up my coaster document here and see if anything comes to mind. I guess Hurler at Carowinds, I did a full review on it. I don't think it's I think a lot of people kind of think the same thing though, maybe. It's a ride for me that doesn't really do a whole lot. It's pretty mediocre, but it's not bad. I don't love it, but I don't think it's bad. It's somewhat fun. Um, some people hate it. Some people just think it's mediocre. So there's that. Um, let's see. Blue Streak at Conneaut Lake Park, there seems to be quite a bit of hate for that. It's a fun ride. I wasn't overly impressed by it, but I think it is a fun ride though. So I do enjoy that. Um let's see. Grizzly. Okay, Grizzly at King's Dominion. I've talked about this before and I did a review for that ride. I think a lot of people don't really care for Grizzly at King's Dominion. Personally, I enjoy it, but it is one that's pretty hard for me to rank. Um, this is probably the best answer I could give you for a coaster that people consider bad that I well, my favorite coaster that people consider bad. I'd probably say Grizzly. It is very rough, not a very comfortable ride, but I do appreciate it for what it is. I love the setting. It's back in the woods. It's very intense, very fast, and yeah, it's just a very intense ride, but it is very rough. So that's probably my favorite coaster that people consider bad. Although I don't think it's like an overwhelming like hatred toward it. I haven't experienced a lot of coasters like that I would say I enjoy. So oh, Kelpie G said, I made a King's Dominion ranking video though. You are correct. And I did say King's Dominion ranking was coming. I don't know what I was thinking there. I did already do that. So that was really recent, actually. One of my most recent videos. Um, I'm going to ask again, very politely. Please refrain from asking the same questions over and over and over. Um, if I have to, um, you'll be removed from the live chat. I don't want to resort to that, but please, yeah, please just refrain. You know who you are. I don't want to call you out on here. Please just stop asking the same questions over and over. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Stamford Bridge says, excuse a morbid trivia question, but what coaster had a fatality with the victim falling onto a public road? It was okay. People are answering it. It was Ravine Flyer. Yeah, I do know that. Ravine Flyer, unfortunately. I have never been able to find good pictures of there's like one or two pictures available of the original Ravine Flyer that operated until 1938 at Waldameer. I would love to know like the layout of the original Ravine Flyer. Just to get like our hands on a blueprint or something would be great. There's not a whole lot known about the actual ride itself. So besides the accident, yes, yes, the original Ravine Flyer, not Ravine Flyer 2. Kelpie G asks, um, if Cedar Point were to get a new flat or thrill ride, what do I think it would be? Oh man, man, Cedar Point needs not necessarily needs. I think other parks could use it more. But Cedar Point could really use a better flat ride collection. All they have right now, as far as like thrilling flat rides, is Max Air, Skyhawk, and Windseeker, I guess. And oh, and Power Tower. They have Drop Tower. So, um, let's see, Cedar Point. What kind of thrilling flat ride? I would like to see them get something unique, like pardon my lack of intelligence with flat rides. I mean, I don't know a lot about like what exactly certain flat rides are called and stuff. Canada's Wonderland has a great collection of flat rides, and I think maybe it'd be great if Cedar Point got something like that one that flips you around, that you like flip the vehicles around really high up in the air. I think it's called Skyhawk at Canada's Wonderland or something like that. I think that looks great. I would love to see Cedar Point get something like that. Kelpie G, I thought it was New Texas Giant. New Texas Giant had a fatality, but they did not fall onto a road. So, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm I'm trying to get a lot of the questions as best as I can. So trying to catch up here. What roller coasters would you call comeback kids? Like a roller coaster that was good at one point, then it was bad, then it made a comeback. And Coaster Lover 2001 suggested to BJT Gaming Ghost Rider, and I think that's a good one. Ghost Rider, I would say. I've never personally ridden it, but that's kind of the arc with that ride in particular. So okay, Stamford Bridge says, I'm sure you know this, but the picnic pavilion to the left of Ravine Flyer 2 was the old station for the original Ravine Flyer. I do know that, and that's actually really cool. I'm glad they kept that, as the pavilion. So it's pretty awesome. You can see a piece of the old Ravine Flyer. So Vortex was not demolished yet, no. Eddie Jackson says, you guys should definitely not do your streams at the same time. DM each other. Um, I respect why you would say that, but this is just how it's going to be. For me personally, I'm very busy, during the week. I work two jobs. I have a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, things that I do on my own time. And for me, Saturday evening just works the best for my schedule. So my live streams are going to be Saturday at 8 p.m. So I'm sorry about the inconvenience as far as conflicting with other things you might want to watch, but this is the time that my live stream is going to be. Okay, it is called Skyhawk at Canada's Wonderland. Thank you, Ben, and thanks for coming back here. Good to see you. Tim K has a trivia question for me. What was the only stand-up hybrid? Um, it was the Mine Train it was at Six Flags St. Louis. They tried to convert it into a stand-up coaster. Brandon, what's up?
What's good, man?
Hey man, you're on my live stream.
Oh, I didn't realize you were live streaming, man.
My friend Brandon called me here. Everybody say hi to Brandon. He's not even in the live stream, but he's calling me. So yeah, I'll call you back later, man, okay?
Okay, man.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right. Coaster hunting. Really good to see you here. I don't know if I've really commented on any of your videos, but I do watch your channel pretty frequently, I would say. Um, but yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Keep it up. I was watching your video with Zach from Theme Park Media earlier, who I also see in the live stream here. Good to see you too, where you guys were riding Rise of the Resistance. I didn't finish that video, but I did see a good portion of the first part of it. So really good stuff. Um, my favorite kind of shampoo. I'm not super picky about my shampoo, but currently I'm using just the basic like 2-in-1 body wash and shampoo, which is it's a Suave men's. It's in a blue bottle. I don't even know, and it's good. I mean, it works good. So you're here, yes. Good to see you. Theme Park Media, awesome stuff as well. Okay, guys, I've asked many times politely. Um, I'm hiding that particular user's user from the live chat here. So sorry about that. I asked you many times and I felt like I had to do that. So Stamford Bridge says it seems to me that Ohio has more closed amusement parks than any other state. Yes, I've looked on RCDB and I don't know for a fact if that's the case. Actually, me and my friend Chris were talking about this for a while via texts recently. We were looking at RCDB after they updated the site, and I think Ohio may actually have the most closed amusement parks, possibly. I know there are a lot of closed ones in Ohio. There used to be a ton of amusement parks. I mean, a ton of amusement parks in Ohio, like everywhere. Like there were a lot just around like my fairly local area to where I live. So, including the beloved Euclid Beach. So Marcus Sorensen, I have heard of the movie Roller Coaster. I've never seen it though. Theme Park Media, Zach says he likes my shirt. Thank you. Fury325. This is one of my favorite roller coaster shirts I have. So yeah, I mean the RMC iBox conversions, they're not in any way the same rides though. So I wouldn't call them comeback kids. I mean, I see what you're getting at. Great uses of those original rides, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Brandon? Brandon's in the live chat now, so good to see you here too, obviously. Okay, there's a trivia question for me coming from BJT Gaming, who does have a lot of great questions for us here. A trivia question for me: the former location and name of Arkansas Twister. That was, I think it was at Boardwalk in Baseball, and I can't remember what it was called there. So, give me the answer on that one. The theme park that closed in Fostoria, I cannot remember what that was called actually. I can't remember at the moment. I have read about that park at the moment. I don't think I'm super educated on that park and I can't remember what it's called. So, Airplane Fan 987, I'm very excited for Jersey Devil at Great Adventure, but when we go in June, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be open. I mean, it's Six Flags, so I wasn't really expecting it to. And they just got in like their first shipment of like supports and stuff like that, so it hasn't even gone vertical yet. It's not going to be open when we go. So, we'll probably see some of the vertical construction work that's been done. Um I'm not expecting it in any capacity to be open though. Yeah, Ben, there were a lot of a lot of amusement parks in Ohio. So, like probably at least 20 at one point that were operating. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a number. I don't even know, but a lot have closed. What Aero Looper was designed by Ellen Schilke, also from Airplane Fan 987? That was Tennessee Tornado at Dollywood. Fantastic ride. And my friend Brandon is mentioning that there was also the park in Vermilion, Ohio, long ago, which is a town very close to where I live, and that was called Crystal Beach. And that closed in the very early '60s. They had a coaster called Comet or Cyclone. So it was a Crystal Beach amusement park that had Cyclone, but it was not the Crystal Beach that had the Cyclone that was in Ontario. That was the infamous coaster designed by Harry Trevor, which is very well known. So don't get it confused with that one. Totally different park and coaster, just with the same names. But yeah, it was only about 15 or 20 minutes, maybe not, probably not even 15 minutes from where I live currently. So yeah, year Cedar Point opened 1870, the big 150 this year, man. So yeah, another trivia question there from Theme Park Media. Stamford Bridge. I appreciate your optimism. I think there is a very small shot at it being open. New the Jersey Devil in June when we go to Great Adventure, but we're going in early June. Um yeah, it's not impossible. There is a very small chance, I think, but I am in no way expecting it. So I really don't think it will be open. Maybe close to opening, but it won't be open yet, I don't think. Hopefully, I will be getting a Six Flags pass to hopefully visit a couple of the parks this year. So hopefully, maybe at least it'll be in like pass holder preview mode when I go, so I can ride it. I don't know. My favorite GCI, um, airplane fan 987 asks. I've only been on two up to this point, Mystic Timbers and Thunderhead, and it was very, very difficult for me to decide between the two. They're pretty different, but both fantastic rides, among the best I've ridden. And ultimately, I decided I like Thunderhead better just because of how intense it is. All the fantastic ejector airtime moments. I would say it's probably ejector. There's a lot of airtime on it, and it really just throws you around. It's pretty rough. It's not painful, but it is pretty rough, and it's a fantastic wooden coaster. So very close to Mystic Timbers. I think I have them ranked back to back in my overall rankings. They're both ranked in my top 15, I believe. So I have not heard of the entertainment center called Pregame in Tiffin. No. The third oldest operating park in the US. I think it's either behind Lake Compounce and Cedar Point being the oldest in the US. I think, or no, Lake Compounce is the oldest. Yeah, yeah. But the third, I think, is either Kennywood or maybe even Waldemere. I don't think it's Waldemere though. I think I'll go with no, 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 no. Waldemere is a little older than Kennywood. I'll say Waldemere, but I'm probably wrong, so correct me on that. Stephen Kennedy asking what I think Kings Island will plan for the 50th in 2022 with Vortex gone now. I did a very detailed video on what I think will maybe replace Vortex in the future. I think it probably won't happen in 2022, probably 2023 at the earliest. But I did a very detailed video on that, so I suggest going to check that out. Um, I outlined a lot of my thoughts in there that I still stand by. So Dorney Park, maybe. I don't think it's that old. Um, okay, Stamford Bridge says it's not Kennywood or Waldemere. So I was wrong. Those are not the third oldest. Neither of those are the third oldest operating park in the US. So well, I'm just going to go check out what the answer is then cuz I'm actually curious about what it is. Um because I cannot remember at the moment. So Let's see, amusement parks, North America, United States. Status, operating, sort by. Um. Oh, Idlewild. Okay. Yeah, actually, I've been to Idlewild. It was 9 or 10 years ago. I actually have been to Idlewild, so I've been on their credits there. The roller coaster and their Wild Mouse, which was actually relocated from Alton Towers. So, okay, yeah, Idlewild is the third oldest operating park in the US, apparently. And I've been there, so it's pretty cool. Very long time ago. I'm not gonna plan on going back there unless they really get a major addition, but it's a family park. It's a good family park, very good family park, but it's just that. Basically for kids and families. Um, Fun place, very nice place, but it's operated by the same people who own Kennywood, and it's very close to Kennywood. Yeah, so I would suggest maybe going there once for the credits. It's a nice place, but not an all-day park for sure. Yeah, I don't really want to pick between channels. Personally from my standpoint, Airtime Thrills is a personal favorite of mine. Coaster Studios is like the first channel I found. It's pretty much one of the most popular, so great channel, both fantastic channels, some of the best. Yeah, so great stuff. Definitely watch both of them. You probably know who they are. Oh, before that, Wild Mouse of Idlewild was that uh, Werner Prater, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. Um, it was there, and it had a fun house around the lift hill, and that's why the lift hill is still tilted. So, very good trivia stuff there. Thank you, Stamford Bridge. Okay, guys, I'm gonna really wrap this up here. So, before I go, I'm gonna look at what Rampaging Rex has to say. Despite Kennywood being my home park, I've never been to Idlewild. I'm planning to finally change that this summer, provided that Wild Mouse is operating. Has it been standing but not operating? Am I missing something there? Um, it's unfortunate if it has been. So yes, Kelpie G, that'd be cool. Yep, Evil Knievel stunt coaster. So see, I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. Not, g- I'm not gonna get into all that drama right now. I think I would go into that a little bit more, but yeah, really charming park Idlewild is, but not one of the best out there. It is a family park, but it's very nice for what it is. Never been to Knoebels, going this year. Okay, it had a lot of downtime recently. A lot of days where it hasn't opened. Okay, good to know. Hopefully it stays there for a while. Hopefully it's not closing. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm out. This is Coaster Daddy. I will be back for another episode of Coaster Cafe next Saturday, 8 p.m. So I'll see you guys. All right. Thanks, Chris. Good to see you here at the very end. Good to see you. So thank you guys for joining me. So peace.